Air travel over the past few weeks has been a disaster for millions of Americans. The question is why? Well, sadly, once again, the Biden administration is politicizing the problem, blaming it on, you guessed it, climate change. A good friend of mine had a flight booked to Oregon for his sister's funeral, and the day before his trip, the flight was canceled. With only 1 day's notice, it was impossible for him to book another flight in time. But he's not blaming the airline. He is holding the FAA responsible. And he's not the only one. The CEOs of both United Airlines and JetBlue are squarely laying the blame with the FAA. Here is United CEO Scott Kirby on CNBC.
The biggest issue with us is air traffic control. Every day we wake up to air traffic control delays.
But you know that the FAA is going to come back and they're going to say, look, we've hired air traffic controllers. We've got more who are coming on. We've got the staffing.
Well, look.
But you're saying they don't have the staffing.
Well, the Secretary of Transportation said a week or two ago that there are 3,000 air traffic controllers short. We experience it it's not their fault, by the way. Like, this goes back 20 years. We've been understaffed there's fewer air traffic controllers today than there were 30 years ago. And we just have to fix that. That's the issue. We all know that's the issue. We just need to get that fixed if we're going to really have an impact on this on delays.
And by the way, do you have a personal story of just these nightmare travel experiences in recent weeks? Let us know in the comments below. And also, who are you holding responsible? We'd love to hear from you. Now, contrast what Kirby is saying with what the Secretary of Transportation, Pete Buttigieg, told CBS News a few days ago about the high number of flight cancellations.
They really shot up at the first part of the week, largely because of severe weather hitting some of our key hubs. I think most passengers understand that no one can control the weather.
But JetBlue President Joanna Garrity told her employees last week, quote, "The severity and lengthy duration of the latest problems were worse than we have seen in the past with similar weather."
The private industry seems to be pointing back to your office. JetBlue's president said she was blaming the FAA. United CEO was very clear, saying the FAA failed us. The DOT's Inspector General said last month the FAA has no real plan in place to fix the problem of inadequate air traffic control staffing in Miami, New York, key hubs. So how are you addressing that particular issue?
We're hiring 1,500 new air traffic controllers this year. Our plan is to hire another 1,800 traffic controllers next year. We're also working on staffing models that can better address the needs on the ground and cooperating where possible and where appropriate with airlines on things that can make better use of the same national airspace. Remember, we have the most complex national airspace in the world.
Did you catch that? His other excuse is America has the most complex airspace in the world. Yeah, I don't get it. What's his point? We've always had that. In this next clip, Secretary Buttigieg goes full Kamala Harris, spewing word salad at us.
But there are things we can do to manage it more efficiently. FAA is using new technology, for example, to open up routes that are more direct using GPS, which means less flight time and ultimately can contribute to less congestion. And when we have severe weather situations like we had a few days ago, have set up a very tight operational cadence, working tightly and closely with airline operational managers.
Don't you just love these big government phonies thinking they are so smart, using words like operational cadence? No one talks like that in the real world. Here's the backstory on the meltdown at the FAA. The FAA doesn't have anyone at the helm right now. Last spring, President Biden nominated a man with almost no aviation experience to speak of, and he was rejected by both Republicans and Democrats in the Senate. Phil Washington, the CEO of the Denver International Airport, quickly withdrew his name from nomination after it became clear he lacked the necessary experience. The Biden administration appears to be more focused on climate change and their woke agenda than on addressing the real problems with our nation's air travel. If you like what we're doing here at Americans for Limited Government and you want to be a part of this fight, very easy. Just like our videos, share them, and subscribe to Americans for Limited Government on YouTube and Rumble.